We have three major shortages affecting America right now, and here I'm going to give you a list. These three major critical shortages are expected to impact people starting now and progressively getting worse this winter, with the number one main shortage being energy. Number one on the list, energy shortages. The potential energy shortages specifically focusing on petroleum and electricity, because with the ongoing conflict in the Middle East and Europe's reliance on Middle Eastern oil, the availability of petroleum is a major concern. And while the U.S. imports most of our oil from the Middle East, although the fracking oil is different and not easily processed in existing refineries, there is also a discussion about potential electricity shortages due to increased energy demand during colder seasons, the winter months, and the instability of the power grid that is supposed to be supporting all these electric cars and semi-trucks running around town. And currently, there's no expectation of illegal immigrants and undocumented migrants crossing into this country across our southern border. The second and third shortages are equally as important, especially based on what has been happening lately. These attacks on U.S. soil, but they're not just isolated to these sleeper cells that we have been warned about by the FBI, which are being activated in response to the Israeli-Hamas war. Tragedy hits U.S. cities. D.C. officials share new details on 13-year-old killed during a carjacking. And you will recall that Washington, D.C. was on the list of U.S. cities on the FBI watch list that I shared with you yesterday in a previous video. A 13-year-old boy, Bernard Tony Jr., was just killed during a carjacking in downtown D.C. The incident occurred when Tony, the young black boy, and another young person attempted to carjack an off-duty federal security officer, with one of them implying they had a gun by holding a hand in their pocket. The officer immediately opened fire, fatally shooting Tony. Tony, described as a smart, funny, and talented seventh grader at Kelly Middle School, and he had been accused of previous carjackings and was no stranger to crime, but unfortunately his days of attempting to steal cars in this real-life game of Grand Theft Auto are now over. So sad. And DC has been facing an ongoing crime crisis, with 827 carjackings reported this year alone, and most of those arrested are under the age of 18. The incident sparked discussions about violence reduction programs and the impact of youth involvement in crime in the city. But as of now, no charges have been filed against the off-duty officer involved in the shooting, and no talks of defunding the police, and counseling services were offered to Tony's classmates, and his death was described as a tragedy by city officials. While some may say that the security officer involved in the shooting had saved future generations from pain and suffering at the hands of this young man. And Jason Aldean said, "I know what the intentions were," and that he stands by controversial "Try That in a Small Town." The country music star Jason Aldean defended his song "Try That in a Small Town" and its controversial music video in his first network news interview. The song's video drew attention for depicting protesters confronting police officers, and supporters viewed the song as championing small-town values during uncertain times, while critics claim it has racist undertones and promotes violence. Aldean emphasized that the video included people of various ethnicities and did not target a specific group as the problem. The video was shot in front of the Maury County Courthouse in Tennessee, where a historic lynching occurred in 1927. Aldean, a county resident, stated he was unaware of the lynching, but acknowledged he wouldn't choose the same location if given the chance to redo the video. But despite the controversy, Aldean defended the song's intentions, aiming to highlight lawlessness and disrespect for cops seen in some places. He cited his personal experiences, such as the 2017 Route 91 festival shooting in Las Vegas, as influencing his perspectives. While Aldean initially expected the song's mention of a gun to be the primary point of contention, instead the video itself ended up generating more heat and also a substantial amount of revenue for the country singer. And the only notable edit to the video in question was a Black Lives Matter protest that was redacted from the video due to permission issues, which inherently only further fueled criticism. Aldean's new album, Highway Desperado, which includes the song Try That in a Small Town, was released on November 3rd. Now, I'm not entirely certain how standing up for your country is being racist, and I guess if being patriotic and being tired of leftist hate makes you racist, then I guess I'm a racist. And another tragic incident occurred with potentially millions spectating. Rest in peace, Adam Johnson. Minnesota is set to hold a memorial service for hockey player Adam Johnson, who tragically passed away following an on-ice incident in England. Johnson was playing for the Nottingham Panthers when an opposing player's skate cut his neck, leading to the game's early conclusion and arena evacuation. Johnson, originally from Hibbing, had played for the University of Minnesota Duluth during his college years and spent parts of 2 seasons with the Pittsburgh Penguins in the NHL. His untimely death has prompted increased demand for neck guards in hockey, and tributes have poured in from the Minnesota hockey community. And what happened is honestly just so bizarre. It's so sad, and it really makes you wonder if that wasn't intentional. I've heard from other hockey players, some having played for 40 years, and they are saying this incident seems highly suspicious and that it looks like a very deliberate action with an intent to injure. The service for Adam takes place today in the Hibbing Memorial Building Arena and is open to the public. And numbers 2 and 3 on the list of shortages include information and hope. I would like to emphasize the scarcity of reliable information and remind you how platforms like YouTube are increasingly limiting discussions on certain topics, the ever-changing restrictions on what can and cannot be talked about, especially concerning sensitive issues like geopolitical conflicts, is pretty much just getting worse by the day. And I predict that as planned crises continue to escalate, information will become more controlled, possibly leading to a lack of diverse viewpoints and stifling freedom of speech. So it's imperative that we stay connected to the truth. And the concept of the looming hope shortage is real. As people become more aware of all the worsening circumstances, hope will begin to diminish even further. Younger generations such as Gen Z, who are struggling with economic challenges like low wages and high housing costs, are most severely at risk. This generation's perceived lack of opportunities and financial struggles may lead to a growing sense of despair and anger. Please do not let that happen. I would be remiss if I didn't alert you and warn of potential violent outbursts and a shift in governmental systems if hope continues to erode like it has been over the last 3 years. And additionally, trade breakdowns, an increase in shortages of essential materials like steel, copper, and aluminum could also worsen during wartime. So stay ready and be prepared. The possibility of governments targeting retirement savings like IRAs and 401ks to address financial crises exists as well. Funds that can be redirected and funneled into Ukraine and Israel. Now, I hope this video helped to raise awareness about these impending shortages and their potential consequences, what attacks are happening on Americans on U.S. soil, and the steps to take to prepare and protect yourself and your families in time of world war. If you would like more information or a way to reach out and talk personally and one-on-one, just let me know down in the comments. And until next time, this is Kevin 247.